The richest poor country on earth. They have more oil than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia, more than anyone on earth. The largest proven oil reserve on the planet, enough to make every citizen a millionaire. And yet, people are starving in the streets. Hospitals have no medicine. 7 million have fled. Children dig through garbage for food. This is Venezuela. And here's the question that breaks every rule of economics. How do you have everything and lose it all? Hold that thought. Because what happened here isn't just bad luck. It's a pattern, a curse that's happened before. And it's happening again right now. Somewhere else. 50 years ago, Venezuela was thriving. Modern cities, growing middle class. People immigrated to Venezuela, not from it. The reason? Oil. Massive reserves discovered in the early 1900s. Foreign companies rushed in. American, British, Dutch, all drilling, all profiting. Venezuela got a cut, not a big one, but enough to build roads, schools, the illusion of progress. But here's what nobody saw coming. The oil wasn't really theirs. Foreign companies controlled everything, set the prices, took the profits. Venezuela was just the landlord, and landlords don't get rich. So in the 1970s, they made a move that seemed brilliant. They nationalized everything, kicked out the foreign companies, took control, created a state oil company, PDVSA. And for a while, it worked. Oil prices were high, money flooded in, the government spent it everywhere, free healthcare, free education, gasoline so cheap it was practically free. Venezuela became one of the wealthiest countries in Latin America. But they made one fatal mistake. They stopped building anything else. Why build factories when you can sell oil? Why grow food when you can import it? Why diversify when oil pays for everything? The entire economy became one thing: oil. And when oil prices are high, that works. But when they fall, everything collapses. And here's where it gets dark. Because it wasn't just the oil price that destroyed them. It was what they did with the money. Oil wealth doesn't create prosperity. It creates power. And power attracts the wrong people. A former military officer runs for president, Hugo Chávez, charismatic, angry, promising to give oil wealth to the poor. He wins. And at first, he delivers. Oil prices are rising. He pours money into social programs, healthcare, housing, education. The poor love him. But he doesn't just redistribute wealth. He takes control. The courts, the media, the oil company. He fires thousands of PDVSA employees who oppose him, replaces them with loyalists, people who know nothing about oil. But loyalty is more valuable than competence, and the oil keeps flowing until it doesn't. Because here's the thing about Venezuela's oil. It's not easy oil. It's heavy crude, thick, difficult to extract, expensive to refine. It needs constant investment, skilled workers, maintenance, technology. But Chavez guts the industry, stops reinvesting, uses the money for politics instead. Equipment breaks down, wells are abandoned, production starts falling, and then Chavez dies. His successor, Nicolás Maduro, inherits a disaster waiting to happen. And then it happens. Oil prices crash, and Venezuela has nothing else. No agriculture, no manufacturing, no backup plan. Just oil. And the oil industry is collapsing. Production drops 75%. Revenue disappears. The government prints money to survive. And that's when everything breaks. Inflation explodes. 100%, then 1,000%. Then 1,000,000%. The currency becomes worthless. A cup of coffee costs 1,000,000 bolivars. Then 10 million. Then they stop counting. People's life savings evaporate overnight. Doctors earn less than $1 a month. Teachers can't afford food. Businesses shut down. Shelves empty. Hospitals run out of basic medicine. People start dying from treatable diseases. And the government's response? Denial, blame, repression. They blame the United States, blame sanctions, Blame, sabotage. Everyone except themselves. Protests break out, and Maduro cracks down. Arrests, beatings, disappearances. He tightens his grip, not because he's strong, because he's desperate, because losing power means losing everything. So he does what desperate leaders do. He sells the future, gives oil contracts to Russia and China for emergency loans, contracts that lock Venezuela into decades of debt. He allows illegal gold mining in the Amazon, destroying the rainforest, poisoning rivers with mercury. He turns a blind eye to drug cartels. Lets them control entire regions because they keep order. And order, even violent order, is better than chaos. But the people, they have no choice. Over 7 million Venezuelans flee. One of the largest refugee crises in the world. They walk across borders, cross mountains, risk everything, just to escape a country that has everything and nothing. So what actually went wrong? Was it socialism, corruption, bad leadership? Yes. But it's deeper than that, because Venezuela isn't unique. Nigeria, Angola, Iraq, Libya, all rich in oil, all poor in everything else. It's called the resource curse, and it works like this. A country discovers oil, instant wealth. No need to build industries, no need to educate workers, just drill and sell. But that wealth doesn't spread. It concentrates in the hands of whoever controls the oil, and controlling oil means controlling power. So the government becomes the economy, and the economy becomes a weapon. Reward loyalty, punish dissent, buy support, silence opposition. There's no incentive to build anything else, because oil pays for everything until it doesn't. And when the money runs out, there's nothing left. No skills, no infrastructure, no institutions, just dependency and desperation, and leaders who will do anything to hold on, because in a resource economy, losing power doesn't mean losing an election. It means losing access to the wealth. And that's a fight to the death. So why does this matter to you? Because Venezuela is a warning, not just about oil, about what happens when wealth concentrates, when power centralizes, when a country bets everything on one thing. The pattern is always the same. Boom, corruption, collapse. And it's happening right now. Lithium in Bolivia, rare earth metals in Congo, natural gas in Mozambique. The same temptation, the same promises, the same risk. And here's the uncomfortable part. The world is still buying Venezuela's oil. China, India, even the United States, indirectly. Because oil is oil, and the market doesn't care where it comes from. So Venezuela keeps drilling, keeps selling, keeps surviving, not thriving, just surviving. Because the curse isn't the oil. It's the choice. The choice to rely on it. The choice to centralize it. The choice to use it as a weapon instead of a tool. And that choice is being made right now, in other countries, with other resources. Because history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And Venezuela is the verse we should have learned. So the question isn't why Venezuela failed. The question is, who's next? Because somewhere right now, a country is discovering something valuable. Leaders are making promises. Wealth for all, progress, prosperity. And people are believing them. Just like Venezuelans did 50 years ago, when they had more oil than anyone, and thought that was enough. But it wasn't. Because oil doesn't make you rich, it makes you dependent. And dependency turns wealth into poverty, hope into desperation, a blessing into a curse. Venezuela is still sitting on the largest oil reserves in the world, enough to rebuild, enough to recover. But that requires something oil can't buy: trust, competence, vision, the willingness to let go of power. And in Venezuela, that's the one resource they don't have. So the oil stays in the ground, the people keep leaving, and the country with everything remains the richest poor country on earth. A warning of what happens when you confuse resources with wealth, and power with prosperity. Because it's not about what you have, It's about what you do with it. Venezuela had everything and did nothing except watch it fall apart.